Frank Chu, maybe, says, "Hi, Luke. I can understand all of your live, but I just could understand about 80% of our customer words when we are in meetings. What caused the difference and why?" This is probably a common thing for most of you watching this, right? The question in your mind, and this is something that people say all the time, "I understand your videos 100%, pretty much. I understand almost 100% of everything that you say." A lot of people have said this to me, and I appreciate it. I really do. But why? Because then when I talk to other native speakers, I don't understand as much, not nearly as much. Well, yeah, that makes sense. But why? So let's talk about why. Let's just imagine for a second that I'm not a person, that I'm an AI bot that is meant for English language learners. Or maybe I have different modes. I have native English speaker mode, talking with other native English speakers. I have teacher mode, speaking as a teacher. And when you click between those two modes, different settings change, right? So what are the settings that change? Well, you might assume that the setting that changes, you can imagine the settings on, off, right? You might assume that the setting that changes is speed. When you're speaking with other native English speakers, you speak faster, and then when you're speaking to us, English learners, you slow down. Not really, no. If you want to check out my other very small channels, a podcast, I speak with other native English speakers, and you'll see there that my speaking speed is the same. It's pretty much the same. But you might notice something interesting if you check that out. You might notice, I understand him less now. What is happening? So really, it's two main things. So let's toggle over to English teacher mode and see which settings are different. Okay, English teacher mode. Speed, same. Oh, okay. Normal speed, 1x speed. Okay, not 0.5x, just 1x. Same speed, but the differences are generally two things. Number one, vocabulary, 70%. So a lot of the words that I might use in a conversation with a native English speaker, I may choose not to use because I know that there are people watching me, for example, you watching me now, who may not know those words, right? So I sort of like take the setting of vocabulary down to about a 70%. I know that sounds weird, but I think it's a good way to sort of visualize what happens. So that's one part. The other part that happens is actually more important, and that is the cultural references, the local idioms, the shared understanding with other native English speakers, especially American native English speakers. And that setting is taken down to about a 2%. So 100% to 2%. And this is the main reason why you don't understand native English speakers. Generally, it's not their speed. Generally, it's not their vocabulary, because if you listen to a native English speaker and they're using all the words that they know, you'll probably understand about 70%, right? Right? But where you get mixed up is when they say things, and maybe you know the words, but you don't know what they're talking about. And that's because they're referencing a thing inside of a circle, and you're not in that circle at the moment. And that is a cultural reference, right? And that cultural reference is part of the language, but in a way that's not just, oh, let me read this book and then I'll know, or let me study more definitions and then I'll know. It's not that. It's a lot more than that. And there are circles that go outward. The smallest circle close friends and family. Things I can say with my family members and close friends that an average native English speaker American won't understand or know. What are you guys talking about? Oh, it's an inside joke. You don't understand. That's one. Next level. Maybe that's region, area, right? Inside of this area, New Yorkers, for example, there might be some things, some common jokes that people in this area understand, and other people, they don't get it. They don't know the joke. They don't know the reference. It's not just jokes. It's idioms, expressions, references to things that maybe New Yorkers know about, right? That's one. Then there might be an American one. America. Things that we experience when we're in school. The high school experience in America, in public schools, is common. It's this common shared experience that almost all Americans have. Almost, not all. And that experience is not quite shared by someone from Australia or the UK. The different experiences. And so Americans might reference those experiences that we've shared that a person from the UK won't understand unless they've seen a lot of American movies and they know about that. So that's another one. And then it goes further. Native English speakers, things that are common to native English speakers, references to movies, references to literature, things that we all grow up with as part of the language and the culture. These are tied together. You can't really separate them out. So that's actually the easiest to get into. You can start there. So just to be clear again, the main difference is references, idioms, the inside knowledge of the culture, and not speed, and generally not vocabulary. So that's what you have to focus on. And a lot of English learners don't focus on it nearly enough. So the good news is it's not that hard. To get into that outer layer of native English speakers, you have to start becoming part of the culture. You have to participate in it. You have to make it part of your lifestyle. Not just, oh, today I'm going to learn a factoid about culture. You have to really experience it, have an interest, enjoy it, watch movies, watch TV shows. That's how you get that sort of stuff, and it's very important. And the people who are really into culture stuff, especially American culture stuff, for example, have no problem with this, right? They learn this stuff and they enjoy it, and they can speak much more naturally than a lot of other English learners because they actually enjoy learning about the culture, experiencing the culture, swimming around in it. So it's a long way to say it, but that's what you have to focus on. Now, getting into those farther layers of the shared experience of high school, well, you can watch, there are a lot of classic high school movies about high school culture, basketball teams in high schools and basketball teams, many movies about that. You want to know about that? Watch those movies. But as those circles get smaller, it gets harder and harder. Easier, harder. You don't know the inside jokes that I have with my closest friends and family members. Because how could you know, right? And that's okay. So that's my suggestion. That's why it's so important to make English a part of your lifestyle, and not just sit there and look at vocabulary. No. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, Frank. Guys, if you have any other questions, keep them coming. Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you hit the like button. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and check out my full courses in the links in the description.